ReleaseWire helps businesses connect with interested journalists and bloggers. Check out the link in the description to save 25% on your first press release.
Admiral, radar shows that we have liberals approaching at 3 o'clock, and libertarians at 9 o'clock, and conservatives at 6 o'clock. They're coming from every angle, every viewpoint. Oh, it's Political Radar with your hosts, Rhonda and Elliot.
So this is our live Q&A session for our live studio audience from our live session at Kavarna with Chris Wery and Bill Galvin.
And this is recorded, so you will be taped.
Yeah.
And recorded.
By that
Posterity.
camera.
Hello.
Okay, so now we can go ahead.
Hi, Bo.
First question.
Hey guys, my name is Bo. Thank you guys so much for doing this. I love the show, and it's so cool to see this, in person live.
Cool, thanks.
You guys do really great work. It's informative. It keeps us up to date. So I just want to know what got us here. Why did you guys get involved in this, and how did this show come to be?
The show started because I ran for city council last year, and Elliot had me on his podcast, which is called Ideas by Elliot. And somehow they liked our chemistry, and then they contacted us and asked us to do the show.
Cool.
That's how it happened. And everyone should know that this is Bo Thomas. Bo does beautiful murals in the city of Green Bay that you're seeing right now, so give him a hand.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Unbelievable work. Really nice, so thank you for doing that.
Is there a line? We don't have a line yet, so then Bo gets asked. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Okay.
Thanks, Bo.
Okay. Sorry.
Got to make a minor adjustment.
Height adjustment.
Hello, I am Cassandra Hautala. I was a guest on the show. And regardless of what you believe, Chris, I'm not anti-pool.
Ever said you were.
My question for you is actually, so now that we're back kind of to the drawing board, I live directly across the street from the Colburn Pool, and I'm curious what is going to happen. It's going to affect my life, so
Certainly.
I'm curious.
Did everyone hear the question?
What's going to happen with the pool? Yeah.
Colburn Pool.
The engineered grave that we paid a lot of money to is going to take 4 options and come back and present them, probably with some cost estimates and what it would look like. And so then we'll bring it back to the community. I'd like to be able to reach out to all the neighbors and the people in the district, and I'm sure everybody around the city would like to. And so, I think one is more of an aquatic facility. One is just kind of a year-round facility, maybe with some kind of water feature inside and enclosed. One is to keep a couple Olympic-length swim lanes for people who want to do that, maybe 2 lanes. And then the fourth one that we put in, and thank you, Aldermen Galvin, is to try and rehab it the way it is. Keep it pretty much the way it is and see what we can save and what we can't. And then we'll just look at those and decide where we want to go.
All right, well, let us know
Yep.
if we're interested in being involved. Thank you.
Am I supposed to be throwing T-shirts out right now?
Like a gambler's game?
Let me do that. I should get a stack of T-shirts.
Okay.
Make sure they're looking.
Anyone else?
You don't want to take out an eye.
Wendy.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Green Bay sausage. Give her a hand. Yes.
So I actually have a question for each one of you. First, Alderman Galvin, what do you think your voice should sound like in the parodies?
Well, I'll tell you, does anyone tell you that they like the way their voice sounds in real life? Because I can't
No,
stand the way
I-
mine sounds, but I don't know. Kind of like a Abbott and Costello. Give me one of those 2 voices.
Okay.
Can you pull that off?
And Chris, you said you wanted to be on a comedy show. How would you like to co-write an episode and maybe voice yourself?
Whoa.
I'm in.
There's a privilege.
I'm in.
All right. That's all I got.
That's huge.
I just want a shirt.
Okay. You'll get a
That's
shirt.
better
You'll
than
get a
getting
shirt.
What?
How many shirts do we have?
We have enough. We can't just give them to anybody.
Well,
but
look at that. We've got 1, 2.
we want to reward good questions. So if you come up and
They're all good questions.
Well,
They're
that's-
all good questions.
it's not entirely.
Elliot.
What?
No question's a bad question.
I don't agree with that.
Unless it's what's your favorite color? No. Anyways. Jacob Koulis, student at Green Bay West, doer of many things.
Yeah.
This is more for the elder persons, men, I believe.
Yes.
So, If you had to pick one category to focus on for the city of Green Bay, where would you focus on? Neighborhood development, economic development, or infrastructure development? If that makes sense.
Picking one of those, it doesn't mean you're ignoring the others, right? I mean, I would pick neighborhood development because that's what I love doing, whether it was the Resch Aquatic Center, the Colburn Center, because if you can keep strong neighborhoods, you keep good people in Green Bay and you attract good people. So that's more of a passion for me. But.
I think so. And I think another thing you get out of strong neighborhoods is people that are involved, care about the community, which may address some of those other two issues that you brought up. But I think that's what makes Green Bay such a cool place to live, are the neighborhoods. And when you look at the history of all the different neighborhoods, it's just a great place. So, neighborhoods.
Thanks for your question.
Awesome.
Okay.
I don't know who this guy is, but he looks pretty awesome.
When is Elliot's son gonna be on?
Oh.
Well,
Good question.
there's a long line of.
I mean, that's me. If you can figure that out.
So, what's your name? And
Your-
everybody should get real close to the microphone because I think it's maybe not
Your
recording.
son.
There you go. I know who you are, but everybody else.
When is Elliot's son going to host the show?
Yeah.
I hear there's an opening.
That's a get.
You want to be a guest? So what I wanted to do is have an episode with Rhonda's daughter and you on.
Oh.
And we just never got that done.
That'd be cool.
So I don't know what
There's so
everybody
much
else
to
thinks about
cover.
that.
Yeah.
But I would like to do that.
You've talked about this.
Well, you have this thing called school that keeps messing everything up.
Okay. I'm Hannah.
Oh,
Hi, Hannah.
boy, watch out for this one.
Yeah, make it a hard ball.
I was wondering what got you into politics. Like, why'd you want to run for office?
When I represented the police department at the Protection and Welfare Subcommittee, there were some things that went on after a while that started to upset me. The way some of our politicians were acting, our representatives, that started getting me interested in running. I went through Leadership Green Bay, Government Day class, really got me even more interested, made it actually seem feasible. And as I got near retirement, I talked to my wife. I had some people approach me and encourage me, and I took a jump into the deep end of the pool.
Well, and you've heard this story a lot. Hannah's my daughter. So
Thanks for coming, Hannah.
when I was, she lives it. When I first got elected, Hannah was born. Literally 2 months later. So her whole life has been politics. I love history. I was a history major in college, and I was going to be a history teacher. That didn't quite work. But when I was a mailman, delivering mail, a couple residents said, "Hey, our alderperson's stepping down. There's going to be an open seat, and you always talk about politics and history. Why don't you run?" And so I threw my name in the hat, and there were 3 of us. I finished second in the primary, and then won. And I just liked helping people. And that's
How
I
long
got
ago
it.
was that?
Eons ago. That was 2002.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Actually, I was going to be a history teacher. Yeah. Went to school for a couple
My name's
years
Jake,
for that.
and I kind of had the same question. We talked a lot tonight about trying to get young people involved in politics. I was just kind of wondering, Rhonda, how did you go from being, average everyday citizen to wanting to run for city council, and kind of what was that motivation for you? And then second question,
Chris is
Elliot,
laughing.
are you going
I
to
know.
run for anything ever? Are you going to run for office?
Well, okay.
First.
Yeah. Because there was a Walmart store that wanted to, put itself into our downtown.
Well, that's crazy talk.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah. We were on opposite sides of that. But so that's what it started, and you kind of got to see what everything, really what could happen overnight in your community if you weren't watching closely enough, and if you didn't have enough influence. And I absolutely did everything I could to have as much influence on that, and was successful. And then I had people reach out to me during that process. And so I did some training in Madison, and did realize that this is something that I love. I would probably rather go to a council meeting, then out for dinner with friends, and that's really weird. But I feel like if that's actually my reaction to something naturally, then that's just, I don't have to think about it. It's just there. So that's
I
basically
wouldn't
it.
skip dinner, and in fact, when I was there, I had to have a burrito delivered. So
Plus, my dad was my father was a history and government teacher and a union president. My mother was on the school board, and that didn't hurt either. So, hi, Eric.
well, he had a part two. It's not all about you. His part two is if I'm ever going to run for office. Answer is no.
I couldn't hear it.
So it's
couldn't
a no.
hear it.
It's a no because you knew the answer. It's no.
No, he's not.
no.
Good evening. This question is for the two alders. First of all, a two-part question. Number one, how do you feel about those that serve on both county and city? Maybe this was covered already, but how do you feel about that?
That's a good question.
Would you ever run for county? And I'm asking my alderman. And then the other question is,
Do you happen to be on the county board?
Get along a little bit better.
I have no problem if someone holds both seats because they can bring the city perspective to the county. Now, my district hasn't had a history of that. We've always had it separate. I wouldn't want to hold both. I think, gives you more time to concentrate just on one job. If some people can, great. But my district hasn't had a history of someone doing both. So,
I worry about conflict, but I do agree with the bringing the perspective of the city to the county board. But I worry about conflict. And then the second part.
Oh, so what kind of conflicts of interest? So follow up on that.
Well, I guess if you're looking at, say, a half-cent sales tax, and you're a Green Bay alder, and you're a Brown County Board supervisor, and are you voting from the perspective of the city, would really like to have that tax money, or are you looking from the perspective of the county board supervisor that serves not only Green Bay, but other parts of Brown County?
And
I guess I was gonna, if I could cut it, I think you're there to represent Green Bay, so you should be doing what's best for Green Bay.
But is your area totally in Green Bay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, the alders that represent the supervisors that represent Green Bay, generally have a...
So I think Bill is saying that he just announced that he's going to...
No, my wife would kill me. I'd be so dead.
And then the other question is, at least there's perhaps a perception that there is tension between city and county. Do you perceive that, issues like, a simple issue like the causeway out to Jones Island, something like that, seems like a real simple, mutually beneficial thing, and yet it takes forever and there's a lot of tears.
This is some of the angst I see. When I read that article in the paper, I was like, seriously? Seriously, we can't come to an agreement on that simple causeway? The other thing I look at is we have to quit being parochial in this area. It has to be more global. We could solve so many more problems if we quit saying, not in my backyard, or that's their problem, or I'm not going to help them because it's going to take away from us. And I think a perfect example, like I said before, council was a 50-meter pool for Brown County residents. No matter where it is. The Pierce building a pool, Ashwaubenon just built a pool. I mean, if we could work together on some situations like that.
So what I'm hearing is that you're willing to give the county Coburn Park, and then we'll build a pool there.
Yes, because you're giving us Triangle Hill.
Oh, is that how it works?
Yeah. Actually, they're in the process of giving the land.
And Eric should be known that Eric is a county supervisor for Brown County. So that's why he's asking those questions.
And a perfect example is the Fox.
Bring up county every once.
Well, the perfect example is the Fox River Trail.
Right.
All three communities got together and said, let's clear this trail and let's take this asset and make it a 12-month-a-year thing for people to use. If Alloway, right in the middle of it, said we're not doing it, then it would have been silly for us to go forward. So they all got together and they went forward with this project. I just think there's so much more we could do on that level. And I know, I saw it with the Green Bay Police Department and Brown County Sheriff's Department. There's always that little bit of, we're better than you, we can kick your butt, all that kind of stuff. And so I like to see on a political level, I like to see us talk more and work more with each other.
And I do want to thank the county, actually, as you mentioned, I think 100 and some acres, the county is going to be giving Green Bay for that Triangle Hill area. The county had owned it and allowed us to have a sledding hill and different
Right.
things. And now by Green Bay having it, it connects a big, long portion of Baird's Creek, and we can do a better job of maintaining the trails. And now the West Side Waste Center, there's a big one that's, where Green Bay has the drop-off site for all your yard waste. That is actually county land. And the county has told the city, we're going to boot you out unless you pay a lot more money. And so if they boot us out, we're going to have to find a new place to put our yard waste. And so that's an issue hopefully we can figure out.
Well, the way Bill was talking about not in my backyard, maybe, we'll just put all the yard waste in his. No.
Yeah, someone else's backyard.
All right. So do we have to give him a T-shirt? I don't know.
Oh, hell yes.
You know I'll wear it, so.
Yeah. So I think you can come on back. And I know there were some other ones. I'm supposed to give out T-shirts, so you should just go
Hello.
on back.
Hi. My question is.
Get as close as you can. Yep.
Okay. My question is for both of you. Since there's so much happening in politics all the time, how do you choose your material for what to talk about?
So the question is, how do we choose our material for the show and the podcast?
Well, so usually it's we want to get a good guest on. I think it's really driven around who we can get to speak about something, but then it's topical, right? So if there's something going on, we want to talk about it.
And right now it's hard.
It's not that complicated.
There's so much.
Well, there is so much to.
Yeah, but it's actually, no, it is.
Yeah.
And I actually would say that, I do a lot of it, so I can tell you it's not easy.
I didn't say easy. I said not complicated.
Yeah,
Two different
it's not.
things. It's difficult. Scheduling people is difficult.
Scheduling people, getting people, their availability. We ideally want them in the studio versus Skyping with someone, but we're open to doing that. We're going to be doing that with some state representatives coming up in the near future, which is really exciting. But you also want to have, something that people are looking for, like they want to look for that information. So timely topic, that sort of thing. And people that are willing to come on, because not everybody's willing to come on and be on camera and be recorded and all of that. So.
But if you have ideas, you should send them to us.
Yes, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And you should come back and get a T-shirt.
1 minute. 1 minute.
1 minute.
One more
try to
question.
make it
Oh
quick.
yeah, because it's getting there. Hi.
All right, I did kind of have two, but we'll see how it goes. So if you listen to any social media, a lot of people either really like the mayor or don't like the mayor, but there's a big group of people who are kind of right in the middle. So this is kind of more towards your comments on this. How do you expect those people to either be supportive of one side or the other without knowing what's next? I mean, what is the alternative to what we currently have?
I think I don't want them to pick a side. I want them to stay in that middle, have that open mind, and see how things develop, and push their representatives to keep the city moving forward. This is behind us with the mayor. I mean, unless someone starts a recall vote, and then that's the voters again, in the middle or on either side. But I think for us to move forward, to do what's best for this community, we need to look forward and not behind us.
Okay. And one other quick one, unless Alderman Wery, you had a comment?
No, I was going to say everything should be issue driven. Take each issue on its own and take the personalities out, and that makes it a lot easier.
And the next question I had is regarding health insurance for alderpersons. Noting that it's probably difficult for an alderperson to have a full-time job and still fulfill their duties as an alderperson, do you feel that that's going to be a hurdle for younger people to actually try to aspire to being an alderperson as well if they can't find health insurance at a part-time job and still fulfill their duties being an alderperson?
I mean, I'm fine with it being a benefit because you pay a lot. You pay just as much as any other part-time person does with the city, so you're being treated exactly the same. Actually, I think the health insurance is, I don't have it, but it's like $800 some a month or so. You can go into the market and get something a lot better. So I don't know why anybody would want to take it with the city.
I did.
Okay, well,
I went into the market. When I retired, I went into the market, and I was paying over $14,000 a year for my first year. And then I had to cut back on the level of insurance I want. I was right about $980, almost $1,000 a month. So at $850 a month, I'm saving a little bit more money.
But that's a budget issue, right? There was a time when that was on the chopping block.
Well, it's on the block again.
Yeah.
Alderman
Right.
Moore has brought it up again.
Right,
So-
to get her, to removing it.
Right.
I think you're treating the elected person the same as any other part-time person.
Right.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Okay, I think we have to wrap it up because Kavarna is going to close, so.
Can anybody get a drink yet or not? No?
Thanks again,
So-
Alex, thanks again.
So I don't know if we have
Appreciate
to
it.
wrap this up. Is this episode 66?
Yeah, what is this?
Or is this not? What?
Q&A.
It's Q&A, so we
Q&A.
don't have to do anything else. We can just say goodbye, and we can be done.
This is where the after party starts now?
This is
or-
where the after party's
I'm not
actually at
really-
Chris Wery's house.
Okay.
And
And I'll be the DD.
Thanks again, everybody. Good night.
Thanks for listening to Political Radar. To ensure that you never miss an episode, subscribe on iTunes or your favorite podcast app. To stay up to date, visit politicalradar.com or connect with us on Facebook or Twitter.